Guten Tag all. Here we are, part 11. I'm really getting concerned it's going to finish on part 13, but I'm going to try not to. But what happens, happens. Alright, we're going to get straight on in. So, we had this issue of this weird texture-y stuff going on. I'm going to head into... I'm going to Control B to restrict my window, because I don't want to... My system might end up hanging. So we need to fix this. That's clearly the material stretching because of the subdiv. If you turn the subdivision surface off, that problem goes. So it's just the subdivision surface doing that. So if we go into edit mode, I'm going to turn off the subdivision surface. I'm going to put a loop cut in the middle. But what I want to do with that is make it flat. And I don't know, if I press SZ0, I'm not convinced. Oh, that does work. But I don't know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to mess with anything other than where it is on the windows. So what I need to do is select all of these vertices along, yeah, that as well, I guess, in the middle of these windows, because I'm going to scale all of them down to 0 so that I can take them down to the bottom, the base of the window, to stop the stretching of that texture in a nice straight line. It's going to make sense when I do it in a second. Okay, so if I SZ0 and left click, now I've got a nice, if I turn on the subdiv now, and then I just drag these vertices down, there's that stretching disappearing, the curvature, and then if I let go there, you'll see now when we go back to render mode, that problem's gone at the bottom. We've still got it at the top. So what we need to do is do the same thing on top. And as I say, because we didn't move any of these others apart from that one, let me just check. Yeah, okay. So realistically, I didn't want that one to move. So I'm going to bring that back up. GZ. Is there any others that did the same? Yep. So the outer edges. And this is just to straighten up that texture, because the texture is following the UV. So if I move a texture, something, it's going to stretch and the image will follow it. So now we have a nice, clear, clean texture. I hope that all makes sense. I hope so. As I say, when you move a face or a vertex, because it's UV mapped, you're stretching the image itself that it's being displayed underneath. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but you saw the results of moving them around. Yeah, I think, yeah, just make it so clear. If I grab a bunch of vertices and press G and just drag them down, watch what happens to the texture. You see, so it's following the text, it's following where the vertices are. So that's why I needed to only move the windows. So I'm going to, because my fan is kicking off, back into edit mode, turn off the subdiv, back into viewport edit mode, and we want another one of these here. But this time, we are going to keep this curvature. I think there was an easy way of doing that. Once you've selected those, head out into X-ray mode, press 1 and then 5 for isometric, and we just don't want any of these outside. Yeah, we don't want the door. Blast. I'm just control selecting, deleting these erroneous selections, because I only want these middle ones in the window. How much is that doggy in the window? And I don't want those ones because they're unnecessary, which means we don't need those. And we don't need those. As I say, I'm just selecting Alt Z, these ones, because of that texture stretching that's happening up there. So if I press GZ, let's just see what that's done. and then put the subdiv back on. I'm fine with that. As I say, it's done with all of them. Okay. I think, oh, there was a couple of bits we were going to put on the church. The church, stop calling it a church. It's not a church. I'm not religious. It's a building that happens to be next to a graveyard. And yeah, we're going to put a couple of decorations on this, but I think we'll move on. We'll move on. And the best thing is to make the thingy shape. So we can go back into edit mode, edit viewport mode, and we don't need the shader editor so full, so I'm going to drag that back. And then if you shift A, mesh plane, and then remember we've got to rotate that on the X by 90, so RX 90. And what we want to do is put Control R, 3 loop cuts in there. We might need more. And we're going to take these 3 at the top and press GZ. And we're just going for that kind of arch again, and then we'll rely on a subdiv to make it tidy. GZ. That looks about gravestone-esque. Oh, I'm in isometric. And then go for the modifier and then the solidify again. And then shift right, left click, give it a bit of beef. And then you might as well just Control A straight away. Okay, so there's our gravestone. And now we want to add some text to it. So if you shift right click, that puts the 3D cursor here. Remember, that's where things will come into the scene when you add it. So shift A, and then down here you have text, and this will also need rotating on the X by 90. And if you press tab, delete, write what you want. I'm going to write what I wrote in the first one. What did I write in the first one? Oh, here lies the default cube. And then once you've written your stuff, if you go, once you've got the text selected, if you head down to here, right down there, you can, under paragraph, you've got your alignment, so I want it center. I'm going to scale it just with S, real small, and I think if I tab, I'm going to just put a gap. Oh, I'm going to, yeah, there we go. So now it can be a bit bigger. All right, okay. And just quickly bring it forward on the y-axis, GY, and then just before we finish, under, again with your text selected, geometry, just extrude, shift, left click, drag it out, and you'll get thick letters. And then simply GY and just inset it into the gravestone. Okay, we'll leave it there and we'll come back in the next one and see where we get. All right, it's been fun. See you in a bit. Bye.